has gourmet. Why did you blow me up? I shot that back. Oh, yeah.
Do you know if we already have bamboo?
No, I don't think we do. But it shouldn't be too hard to find.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this is at an angle. It's bothering me.
Loser! Whoa, that sounded weird. And the knife!
If you ever get up, I need you to do a favor for me.
What is this favor?
Get my pretty water from my work backpack.
Okay. If you ever get up, I have a favor for you to
Is
do
that
for
right?
me. Yep.
Does it get my pretty water?
No.
That's not it?
Correct.
Huh?
Correct.
Correct. I take it you don't plan on getting up.
No.
Darn it.
Not anytime soon, anyways.
Owen, come here. Grab my work backpack next to the beanbag chair.
Surprised.
I need it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay. It worked.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Where is it?
It's not in there.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Where is it?
Yeah, thank goodness I didn't get up and do that, because I would have been real sad.
Oh, what? Like, I'm getting confused. What? Are they still in my school backpack? I could have sworn that. I'm getting angry.
Uh-oh. I don't want to see you angry.
Oh, man. Okay. Snack? Badge? Charger? Shirt? That's it. Oh, man. What a waste.
Yeah, it sucks.
No. Found it.
That's good. Was it in your school one?
It was in my school one.
That you could reach the entire time?
Yes.
So you made everyone get up for no reason?
Oh, crap. Did it.
But at
Whew.
least go.
What was that? Oh, my backpack fell down again. Whew. Okay. I'm back. I'm back and I'm black.
Interesting.
I'm back and I'm cat. Take all my gap. Oh, doggy! It's a cool doggy. Wow. I ain't bones. It's like a,
Was it the German Shepherdy one?
I don't know, it's like light brown and dark brown mixture. I want it.
German Shepherd looking one?
He's gonna go around with me everywhere.
Why are these gas in place where I can just literally sword them?
Upsetty spaghetti.
Sounds like you.
No, it doesn't. Sound like you.
I'm always upsetty spaghetti.
They've never made this Planes movie a Pixar movie. Like, it doesn't have the Pixar logo on it, and it's not in the whole Pixar roster. It's never, ever been talked about ever again since it was made. But we all know it's, like, the same thing as Cars. And I just watched the opening intro thing with Owen. It said the world of Cars
Oh,
right after the Disney logo. Like, the Cars logo.
weird.
That's clearly a Pixar movie. It's
Yeah.
confusing me. Why they are trying to tell us it's not.
It was weird because it wasn't even like owned by Disney yet, right?
No, it's made by Disney.
Yeah, I mean Pixar wasn't even owned
Oh.
by.
They probably were. 2013, I think they were.
Oh.
Can't wait to read my comics that I have.
Yay!
I have a Transformers I haven't read yet. I have a new Void Rivals, new Spider-Man, a new Walking Dead. I still need to finish Kick-Ass. I have one issue left of that. I have one issue left of the Game of Thrones Part 1.
You're really close to a lot of those.
I know. I think that's mostly it that I'm currently reading. God, can't wait to keep reading Harry Potter. It's really good.
Yeah.
I like it. And the book is so cool. It's got pictures.
Yeah, why are these gas all within, like, hitting distance? With a sword.
There's the doggy. Come here, doggy friend.
Yeah, I got no gas here. It's unfortunate.
My friend. My friend. I didn't get an achievement for that.
Oh, that is a cute doggy. Have you tamed another animal?
Oh, I guess I got a horse. Donkey. Alright, horse. I mean, dog. Let's go.
Oh, I fell.
Dummy.
We're good. I'm alive.
Oh, I haven't put fortune on my pickaxe yet.
Bro. Yeah, because we only have the Fortune 2 or that Fortune 3 one.
Yeah, it's hard to want to just do it all right now.
Yeah.
I should just carry 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you're specifically mining, yeah.
Like, I mean, it works on coal, right?
Yeah.
I should just carry 2 at all times then. Could have used it right now. Oh, cool this place is.
That is really pretty.
I'm gonna jump in the water.
Okay.
Oh, 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 oh.
Did you almost miss?
That was so close.
Shoot, I wasn't even... That's rude. Okay, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Can you tame the pandas?
No.
Do you think they're gonna do
You
that
can
eventually?
breed them. No, they walk so slow.
Didn't we bring some home once?
Yeah, and it took me forever, and then we immediately stopped playing.
I'm sorry we quit so quick sometimes.
It was okay. Usually it's mutual. I feel like I haven't been this, like, into it, though, in a while, so that's
this
a good
brown panda.
sign. Well, brown pandas are rare.
Oh, he's mine now. Oh, he's eating bamboo.
Well,
Look at him
no,
go.
he just has
Aw.
hearts. It's not necessarily yours.
He won't look at me.
It's not actually yours.
Got it. Got a
Oh,
screenshot of that dude eating.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Yeah, brown pandas are pretty rare, so that's cool.
These bamboo forests are really cool with the jungle trees and everything. Look over there. Look how cool that looks.
Oh yeah, it's very pretty.
Way cooler than the jungles. The jungles used to be so much worse. They've made them better.
That is
They used
true.
to be like the biggest biome, I swear.
Oh, I know. They would never end.
They were the worst. They've really improved on the jungle. It's
I
also
agree.
like I think it's the newest of the. No, that's not true. I guess a lot of new
They
biomes
just,
now.
yeah,
For my memory, it's one of the newer ones. It was like one of the first new biomes to me.
it was. Yeah, same here. And I remember being like, well, I can't go into creative mode because I was on the Xbox. If you went into creative mode to like get saplings or whatever, it would make it so you could no longer get achievements in that world.
What? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Because it's like cheating.
I feel like they've done way too many updates. I feel like they've all been pretty good, but just too many.
I feel like one every other year would be okay.
Yeah. Can't give people enough time to like play it
Yeah.
before a new one gets updated. I feel like there's been 2 new updates since the last time I actually fully played.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Let me do that now. I'm gonna see if this is a thing.
You know they have like villages and temples. They should have like little in the air, in the sky jungle villages like the Ewoks. That should be a thing.
That'd be funny.
And pandas live there or something.
That would be so like
Oh, this is a weird place.
strange. Do we have any more leaves? Oh, there's some. We maybe should explore to like get dark oak and stuff like that.
I suppose. Oh, I hope Doggy Friend doesn't drown.
That would be so stupid of him.
It's aggressively mean.
Am I wrong?
It'd kind of be my fault.
Can they even drown?
Oh yeah, good job, Doggy Friend. Kill that zombie. Hey, don't hurt my don't hurt my dog friend.
I hit your donkey. It looked like he was about to attack me too, and I got a little confused. It's okay, I only hit him with shears. It's a silly thing to have if you're an airplane.
Watch the NFL playoffs live of networks and get access to game day features like key plays and stats to keep favorite teams. TV Try it free. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Skip ad. Oh, let me click it. Is my computer breaking recently? It's the weirdest things too.
I have no idea.
Let me click the screen with my finger.
It's weird.
What the heck?
Now taxes
I don't.
is getting the TurboTax app.
Okay.
And filing your taxes yourself.
Windows Shell
100%
experience
free if you
host?
didn't file
What?
with us last year. Pay
does that even mean?
$0 when you file by 2/8.
I have no idea.
Hmm?
I was testing something out that I thought I saw, but it's not actually a thing, so that's sad. I will need chargers.
Treasure?
Charger?
Oh.
Not right now, but soon.
I'm going to travel back in time, find a dinosaur egg, bring it back to the future, sit on it until it hatches, raise it, love it, and then watch it mangle your lifeless, helpless carcass while I touch myself
I
inappropriately.
like these random iron, not iron, item things.
Pretty good.
On the wall. Who is the fairest
Like, what's
of
the
them all?
purpose? Nothing. They're just cool.
Oh,
What are you watching?
Friday Night Tights.
So tell me, am I
But
the
they do
fairest
this
of
little
them
intro
all?
thing sometimes, and they're always funny.
Foreigner, yellow snow.
Please give me cock.
I'm gay.
Walt Disney Pictures invites you to the party of the year. Yellow Snow and the Seven Dumplings.
Meet a boy who sees the world a little differently.
I ain't gotta get good brain.
In a town that misunderstands him.
Whoa, not that I'll fuck.
An unforgettable journey of friendship and love.
Will you stop looking at me tits?
I'm sorry. It hurts, but in a good way. You make me happy. You make my pee-pee maker tingle. Mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know if you're gonna get AIDS. Like Jenny. She's a dead AIDS whore that I made an AIDS baby with.
Simp Jeremy. Coming soon. Inside a theater near you.
Oh boy. You know
You're
what
gonna
this
have
is?
that playing in the back of the thing?
Yeah. I've done it
That
before.
not copyright?
It is, but I can still post it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Friday Night Tights. Radical light. Friday Night Tights. Oh, that always happens. I
Yeah.
hate YouTube.
I'm pretty sure the creators choose when that goes.
I hate them.
Good.
Welcome to Friday Night Tights, everybody.
Who's Gary? That's him,
Who's Gary?
the main guy.
Whoa.
Pointing out that we were late. It's in the song. It's in the song. We apologize, but we're probably late. I used we, blaming everybody else.
Might as well.
The royal we, I thought. The royal we. The royal we. Welcome. Today is a fun. We have some we have a show to talk about.
Yeah, don't call it that.
Don't call it a show.
Aw,
I really don't want to listen to them.
why?
It's torture.
I just
Yes.
don't want
Can you
to.
imagine if they released Section
I don't know.
41 in theaters?
Play the Minecraft.
Please.
Would have made less money than War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
I would have actually made a
Right.
video about it then.
Oh, I'm still going to. It feels like I have to because I had to go. It felt like going back to 2018 because it was Star Trek making it still makes all these mistakes anyway, but it was like Star Trek Discovery 2 writers.
Come on, dog. There's a third one here.
That's pretty
If you
sweet.
come over here,
I'm okay for right now.
we have 3 dogs then.
Do it up.
Pretty amazing.
That's how you know it's good.
That's how you
The
know it's
entire
good.
movie was playing woke bingo with every single thing they like. They literally had some guy where they had to comment about mecha dysmorphia. Yeah. And then he said I got offended.
Okay,
I'm like,
before we get started, this room,
4
I know
dogs?
You want to go? I know you want to go. We're
Great.
gonna get there, buddy.
They're all the same dog too.
I promise
Oh
you.
gosh,
I
don't
have
use all of
12
our
pages of,
bones.
What?
retarded
Why?
So I can have some later.
to go over.
Or if I need to make bone
I
meal.
live tweet for things, but I couldn't resist for this because
So I
there's no way
surprisingly
anyone
need
would
that a
believe
lot.
this is real unless I screenshot.
A lot of doggies.
And you know what? Like, only Star Trek fans are gonna understand. Like, even like, and I mean, like, you've watched some of the show. You don't have to be a hardcore to understand like what's going on. Most of it's gonna be. It just sounds stupid, and it does. But
That's
to a
an
Star
Enderman
Trek fan,
in our
it's
base.
1,000 times worse. And that's why we have the Star Trek fan, the imagination connoisseur, the guy who coined the phrase "authenticity is the currency of the future." Robert Burnett.
Thank you. It's always an honor to come back to this esteemed group of
Why are all the chickens swarming the mascot?
as well. So,
I don't know.
That's weird.
boy, what a depressing.
Because they're silly.
Robert, don't compliment us. You know the
That's
rules.
not where donkeys go.
Shit about it. We're all terrible. We're all
Where donkeys go went.
I kind of like what we got going on here. A bunch of animals are gonna be in this big. We've never made a house like inside of a natural cave entrance like this before.
Yeah, no, I really like it.
I don't know how much
At
we should
first
change
I
it.
wasn't like very sure.
Like, how much should we
but-
change it from here?
Listen.
Well, that wasn't
You guys
limits.
think that simple
Um,
Jeremy is
I don't
Like the
know. I kind of
floor?
like the definitely
Keep the walls the
floor.
same?
struggle with it every day.
I like the walls. I like with the amethyst
Yeah.
little bits.
I'm like, if I get too into it, I'll want to change the grass ends. But I don't know if I should
I
do
do
that.
kind of want us to do something on that little edge,
Here?
so I don't always get damaged when I jump down.
People really thought
That's a
that was
selfish thing. So.
Of course.
Jeremy, you're like, make America great again.
That bald picture looked pretty.
It did. Oh, dude. Reddit was like, got him. So,
They can put that next to the "I Love the Last Jedi" video that they keep running around.
got him.
And
We
knew
got
he
him.
was catfishing us.
So we're gonna talk.
Oh, the glowstone
about,
makes it a lot
Star
nicer in
Trek
here.
Section
Good job.
31. There
Yeah.
is a lot to talk about. It is.
Are you organizing? Good job.
The worst
Proud of you.
Star Trek ever made, and that's actually saying something.
Not
It's
bad.
Star Trek section 41%. That's the odds. One, there's a lot of representation, and two, the odds that you're going to kill yourself.
Oh,
Yeah,
bummer.
I was gonna say, I might be part of that.
Oh.
I can't put scaffolding on the leaves.
But, we're gonna
I
talk
have
about that.
said charger now.
The Captain America 4 budget has been announced by Disney. We'll discuss
What?
that as well.
It's so difficult.
Of course, and there was a very
Stick
interesting
behind your back.
LA Times article.
Is that gonna
Came
work?
out in the last
Give it
24
to
hours
that.
or so that said Hollywood lost the culture war. We're going to go over that as well. We're going to go over
Let
that
go.
as
Let
well.
go all the way.
But what the hell? Let's start out with Section 31 as people.
But before that,
Oh, before that. Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry. It's not an ad read. It's not an ad read. I think they've given up. I think they've given up. We have new. I do. We have new dye. We have new dye right here. Yeah. Beard oil. Beard oil.
that's on a piece of wood.
Yeah. Well, just
Yeah.
for me. Just for me.
That's how hard it is.
Yeah.
That's very manly.
It will give you wood. Yeah, it comes with little
hardy wood,
comb.
eh?
Hardy wood. It has a hardy wood comb because that's what you're supposed to comb your beard with is a wood comb. Don't use that plastic.
Damn right.
It's not good for the hair. No one knows how much that fucking costs extra, girl. It might as well be Monopoly.
That was funny.
What?
A golf duster in the race? Well, he's gonna die.
Look, the Canadian dollar is the American dollar soon enough.
Hey, that's right.
Well, as California.
I also kind of made this my personal chest,
signatures to
so
Cool.
I can mimic yours on the other side or something.
Which one?
KTLA News
The one with the
reported
fish?
it, so
Oh, cool.
it's got to be true.
You have two
Yeah,
different
so we got a-
doggies.
we got a-
I have 4 dogs. Wait, what? Are you sure?
It's a beard oil.
Yeah.
It smells really
There's
manly
two
and
different.
cool, and the ladies like it, and it will get you laid. So, there.
Whoa. Nice.
Oh, yeah, like he's kind of a red doggy. Yeah, I see it.
The fine
Come
print.
with one of those money back guarantee things, or
No. And the fine print is if you can't get laid, that's your problem.
okay.
Hey, real quick before we get started too, we have it confirmed that Saturday for MegaCon is going to be our panel at noon. So we announced that yesterday on Open Bar. So was that February 8th? So the same day as the fan meetup at Universal Studios City Walk. That'll be that night. But that day, our panel is at 12 noon at MegaCon. We're gonna have full details put on geeksandgamers.com. Locations and everything like that. So there's the meet and greet schedule as well. So
if you're interested, so after the panel, there's going to be meet the panelists at the Ripaverse booth. So if you guys are interested, plus there's other.
These guys all go to
meet and greets as well.
meetups
Check
and
out these deals
conventions
at
all the time
Walgreens.
to meet people. I really want to go to one eventually and meet Gary and them.
That'd be cool.
They do like a bunch of them. They tend to always be in like Orlando though for some reason.
Odd.
And if you have not
Destination
RSVP'd
spot.
for the
Maybe it's
meetup,
cheap travel.
Please do that because we have already had a lot of people. I don't know if this is our most RSVPs we've had, but there's a lot of people that have RSVP'd for this already. We need to make sure that we have an accurate count. So please RSVP if you have not. Mod dropping links to that right now. We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on. Critical Drinker will be there. Obviously FNT crew, Gary, Ryan, me. Geeks and Gamers, Star Wars Theory is going to be there. We're going to have other people hanging out with us as well. So please make sure that if you're interested, come see us at MegaCon. It's going to be great. Cannot wait. Excited. I'm excited.
Let's go.
You know what I'm not excited to talk about? Actually, I kind of am. Section 31, a Star Trek show. So let me set this up.
A
little
movie.
bit of
Yes,
It's a movie. Sorry, it's a movie. It's a made-for-TV movie.
It was a show, and then it got
Yes.
truncated
That's
into a
part of
movie.
the history of this. So, I'm sorry. The Herstory. The Herstory of STD is a series that flared up a few years ago, and then somebody finally got some penicillin and canceled it. But this is a spin-off show of a show that supposedly has not been decanonized. It has been taken out of a timeline. So it's still part of the overall Star Trek canon, but it seems through a cartoon that Star Trek Discovery has been splintered off into a different timeline, which I'm fine with, but I still watched it, and I can't unsee it. So we have Emperor
Isn't
Philippa.
that the same thing? Like if it's been removed to a different timeline, so it doesn't
It's
affect
doing
any
that thing
events.
again. Like when I plugged it in.
I don't know what that means.
Like it's covering half
Does
my.
it start
Ooh,
part of the
that's
original
extremely
timeline, and
weird.
when does it splinter off to its
Only after I
Guys,
plugged it in though, so I
nerd
think it's just
conversation that can last 2 hours, but
confused.
I mean, like, they should have done this in the beginning. They should have made it part of the Kelvin timeline or its own timeline in the beginning, and it probably would have made a lot of things better. It still wouldn't have made the show better. The show itself sucks. Whatever timeline it's in, it sucks and it happened. And this is a spin-off from it. The Terran Emperor, 62-year-old, great actress, not in this, great actress, Michelle Yeoh. And she's Space Hitler. She's killed billions of people. She eats Kelpians. She's a horrible person, but now she's just looking for a little bit of redemption. And
Can I jump in just on that redemption part, because they don't do anything to redeem her, and I haven't watched much Discovery at all. And
You
so
didn't see her cry?
Yeah, I I'm introducing this character murdering her family and then telling us that she's committed multiple genocides and nothing else.
Oh, murdering her family was nothing. Was nothing compared to what they... Dude, this was the Star Trek Discovery that had people drilling in the eyeballs and severed baby heads and crazy.
She ate eyeballs in this show.
I'm really not sure what I really want to do with the ceiling.
Kill her family. Was it with soup or was it just like?
I'm struggling.
Was it just
Her cooking was that
was
bad.
it like
I mean, I would still stick with some green.
Well, I just wanted to die the whole movie, and then it fakes you out, and I was like, oh, good, and then she's over. And so I hated her. I hated her the whole thing, and there was nothing to do.
You talking?
Yeah. So
He was yelling harder, harder, and I said that's what she said. Alright, I have a question for you. You know how you did the crafting tables right here? Can we move them to this corner?
No.
Okay.
The reason why this is here is because I wasn't able to do these little tough stairs at this corner because it was going to run into these stairs here. We can add more crafting.
That was pretty much what...
sections are there?
So, before we get into that, let me finish my preamble to set everything up.
No, we need a leaf there.
Star Trek Discovery
Yeah, it's not a
ended
big deal.
in season 5. They had always promised this season, Section 31, since season 2, which was...
We can find more places for crafting tables, though.
2019? So this was going to happen, and then it never happened. Then Michelle Yao, however you pronounce it, wins an Academy Award. And all of a sudden, they turn it into a movie. They paid her the budget of
I don't
Godzilla
cry,
-1
I'm
to be
British.
It's so wild because I agree with Gary. Like, there's like I've seen stuff that she is a great actress in.
She is.
But to hire a 62-year-old Michelle Yao, I don't know.
She doesn't look it 'cause she's
Actually, go tell me how to pronounce it. But to hire her to be basically this action star, genocidal emperor is
it's a tough sell.
A weird casting.
It's a tough.
They tried to push her as a femme fatale throughout the entire show.
Mhm.
Like, outfits they're wearing, things like that.
Yeah. It's obvious why she was cast.
Well,
Just say
and I
it.
think
It's identity politics. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, but you could hire fucking a 35-year-old Asian woman to do that, right? You know what I mean? Like, that still wouldn't be good.
Well, can we discuss the elephant in the room that the younger version of her spoke better English than the older version of her?
She developed an accent over
and
time.
had a British accent with that too. So that was a little odd. So yeah, she was paid $12 million to be in this, and it's clearly a bottle episode. It was like shot for nothing. It was shot on like sets. I think they went outside a couple of times. It's pretty bad.
Variety covered that. They used.
What do you think about that
new
as a
world
start?
sets and sets from the
I'm
other
not sure
TV
about it.
series to keep the cost down. I think they said this is like the cheapest thing they've ever done for this.
And it looked like it.
But at the
What
same
did you do?
I had a deep slate on the top section.
Oh,
So it had
yep.
some of the worst
That's good.
writers from
You
Star
sure?
Trek Discovery.
Didn't even notice.
Okay, I guess I'll just keep going with that then.
I remember that name from.
I'm not too sure. I'm gonna try on the other side tough.
Okay. Yeah, I did not honestly
It
notice.
almost feels
So.
like a held over script that they kind of just put down into one movie. Whatever it was a lot of holdovers from 2018's Star Trek Discovery, and that's exactly how it felt. It starts out with a young Philippa Georgiou, and she has to kill her family to become emperor, and then she makes her lover a slave, and that was the whole flashback part. And then all of a sudden so the timeline is what's interesting here, Robert. Is I was really curious about like where she was and where this takes place. It takes place during Next Generation timeline, 2350, 2340. So okay. Robert can probably decipher star dates in his head.
No.
I cannot. And so I went to the star date calculator that I found online, and the star date that they put up front was April 17th, 2000 or 2342.
Which one's better?
2342. I don't know if that's right or not.
Second.
But so this takes place when Picard is about, I don't know, in his late 30s, early 40s. So we're in Next Generation territory with this one.
But Patrick Stewart looks the same.
Probably looks the same.
I
Probably
actually like
looks
the tough
same. So
more.
I was like, is this going to affect anything? But the show's called Section 31, which has like, its origins from what DS9. It was mentioned.
Yeah, it was
in
introduced in the 6th season of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it's in Enterprise too, right? So,
yeah,
and it's supposed to be a super secret organization. This super secret organization now has badges. Membership cards. They can identify each other.
So I started with 30 scaffolding.
They
I have
hire
15.
idiots. They hire
Yeah,
idiots.
I kept picking some up,
Oh.
so there's a bunch just in random chests.
They have no.
Should be only like these three, that top one up here. No, that's nothing in there. Or this one. There's 8 in here.
This was clearly Kurtzman
I'll toss
going,
them on the floor.
we need to have our own Suicide Squad. Like, let's get an Australian guy in there that's silly. And, yeah, like, both of those together, and let's just have quippy, like, one-liners constantly. And they could all talk, like, Gen Zs.
At this point, who's still watching Star Trek? That's a serious question. Like, who is still watching this shit?
Just us right here. That's pretty much us.
I have not heard of this show until now.
Robert, can you answer that question? Who's still watching Star Trek?
Well, there is a small, I think, devoted fan base to these modern. I mean, here's the thing. I want to preface these statements by saying, look, Star Trek debuted 1966, and like the Bond films, people discovered James Bond in different parts of their lives and different generations, and everybody has their favorite Bond. So Star Trek has kind of been something people have been able to discover on their own since then. But I would say one of the problems with modern Star Trek is I call it a product of fraudulent creation. At first, when they brought back the Star Trek, the bad robot era, which started in 2009, what did they do? They decided, let's go back and retell the first tale of Kirk and Spock meeting. Up until this point, Star Trek had either gone forward or gone back and created all new characters, different situations. You went from the original series to Next Generation, which was like 100 years later. Then you went to Deep Space Nine, then you went to Voyager, then you went back and did Enterprise, which was a prequel that showed the founding of the Federation. So all of Star Trek from 66 to 2005 was doing something new, creating new characters, new situations, delving into that whole universe. And it represented a multi generations of storytelling going through the latter half of 20th century America. Well, then they make the decision in 2009 to go back for the very first time.
I will not be putting them in the wood chest when I pick
retell
them
the
up.
story of Kirk and Spock.
You will be.
And turn them
I will
into
be.
people that might be, as they thought, more appealing to a younger generation. They're constantly going after an audience that I would dare say does not exist. They're trying to make Star Trek appeal to an audience that isn't interested. They think that, look, when I was a little kid, Star Trek appealed to me when I was 5. And it was an adult show, but I liked it when I was a little kid, and I think most of us, Gary, you were probably younger when you started watching Star Trek. It appealed to you even then. You didn't have to have a show pander to you as a child to get you interested.
Where can I find tough? Oh, in random places still probably.
Yeah, there's nothing.
That's since
That's in
2009.
yet.
Oh crap, am I out of tough already?
To change fundamentally what Star Trek is to appeal to this younger audience, who, by the way,
There's 5 in here.
ironically, is not interested.
It's like a black and white cookie.
What the hell is even that?
That's a Charon.
Found 43.
That is a Charon.
To your point,
and it should have a rainbow flag on side of its face.
Well,
Where's
this
all of our coal?
harks back to a third
I don't even know.
season, a 68, 69
You just not have
episode.
very
I don't
much?
mean that in a sexual way.
Yes.
The actual 1968, 1969. An episode about blatantly overt.
If I didn't die that
hit you
first
over the
time,
head
I
didactic
got
episode of Star
so
Trek
much.
where a race
It's like
of
the
people
flat
from
screen
the planet
conundrum
were
all
white on one
over
side, black
again.
on the other,
It is.
And then some of them were black on one side and white on the other, and they hated each other. And the last two that existed killed
Oh
each other.
crap.
And
Oh,
it was
double
it
crap.
was obviously about racism. So
Loser.
as this show, as Star Trek now is wont to do, they just cherry pick. We had a Delton from Star Trek: The Motion Picture in this.
Yes.
We had someone from Charon in this. You had Rachel Garrett, who was a great character introduced in the 3rd season of Next Generation as the captain of the ill-fated Enterprise C. They just willy-nilly. It's like they read BuzzFeed articles and go, "Oh, let's put this in. Let's put this in," with no context, and you're supposed to go. That's all they think of Star Trek fans. Hey, we'll just put this in. Put this in. People go, "Wow, look." It's no.
That's where Star Wars is. The same thing. It's people that own the property, that don't understand the property, hiring people to write it that again don't understand the property or the audience or anything that has to do with it. They're just like, what is Star Trek? Let's Google let's do that alien. Let's do that alien.
Even this looks like the Star Wars Cantina almost.
Yeah.
I think
Bite.
that, I have certainly not seen nearly as many of the new Star Trek projects as I have seen the Star Wars ones, but I think on average, based on the response I've seen in some of the reviews and all I don't care about Star Trek as much, so it doesn't bother me nearly as much. But I feel like as bad as Disney Star Wars is, it feels like Star Trek is in actually a much worse place.
It is.
than
It is.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
just
get me
saying.
started on Doctor Who, which is worse than this.
Well, like to Robert's point, like I mean, I watched The Next Generation with my family when I was a teenager. The Borg, the whole episode, all those freaked me the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it drew you in, and my whole family, we would look forward to The Next Generation every week. It wasn't anything like that was pandering to anyone. It was just Star Trek, and it was telling a good story, and it was telling stories about space exploration and all of this. And now, like, who the hell is watching this? I don't know a single person, not on this panel anyway, that has any, like, I never see it on my Twitter feed. I never see it on YouTube. I never see anyone talking about Star Trek. Never. No
That
one
was
talks about this.
No.
The Federation had strong values, and Section 31 was meant to go, what happens when those are not enough? What happens when you meet someone that doesn't care, and it will put you in a position where you either die or you stand by your morals? And people like Picard will go, I'd rather die. So Section 31 was there to protect people from themselves. But not only did this not have any of that in, the plot doesn't even make sense in itself. Like, they had a thing that destroyed an entire quadrant of the universe and thought, that's not enough. We're going to have an invasion from a parallel dimension, and then we're going to not detonate it in one quadrant, we're going to detonate in the middle and blow two quadrants
Wait.
and somehow stop this.
Yes. We'll get to that very end, which is horrible. And I have a lot of questions.
White males in this show, by the way. I haven't seen one.
Yeah, there's half one. The half one.
There he is.
Okay, so when
Discount Chris Pratt.
So when a white male shows up in when a white man outside of Strange New Worlds, when a white dude shows up in Kurtzman Trek, he's either dumb or dead.
And each one was both. And the bad guy. You knew he was the bad
It's
guy.
the thing. When they started asking who was the mole, who was going to betray them, I was like, okay, it's Abby. But it wasn't. Based on
It wasn't.
It wasn't. I know.
Who's the other white guy?
The other white guy, but they used him as well as part of it.
Yeah, so they had a guy in a mech suit, they had a Deltan, they had a shapeshifter, they had a Vulcan robot that's controlled by a nanokin, and it's the laughing, emotional Vulcan thing that they really love to do.
I love
love
that.
to do it.
I love it.
Total lack of understanding of Vulcans everywhere in modern Star Trek.
Understanding of physics. Like, they went, small things that survive big explode. No, they don't. What are you even on about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not in the quantum realm, they're still around.
The fire goes everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of it. You just...
I like when he came back with the southern accent at the end.
Oh my god.
Oh, and he's a woman.
Yeah,
it's a
It's a female of the species inside him. Yeah.
It's a female inside a male robot body.
Yeah. What's the messaging there?
Also, the music throughout this entire movie was so off-putting and strange to the point where about 2/3 through the movie, when they were trying to finally fix that engine or whatever that they needed to fix, that was the first time you heard any semblance of Star Trek music, and it felt fucking weird.
It was an
Because
abomination.
The entire rest of the movie was like modern pop.
Dude, the rest of the movie, at no point did this feel like a Star Trek movie at all. The sound effects didn't feel like Star Trek. The music didn't feel like Star Trek. And then at the end, they had the fucking audacity to play the theme to Star Trek. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, fuck you.
The Alexander Courage.
It honestly felt
The
more like
theme.
Rebel Moon when watching it.
Yes.
I feel like it had a lot of
was
Rebel
Rebel
Moon
Moon
feelings.
energy with like a way less budget.
Especially the opening sequence.
Yeah.
And okay, Robert and I are big fans of ship porn. We are the ship porn experts. The
Sounds like
ship-
saying shit.
You might
Sounds like
Hey, buddy.
Spaceship porn. Spaceship porn. If you go over my internet history, you'll see me looking at the Enterprise refit.
Not only is that clips, Gary, you throw Robert right up the butt.
So what
big
is the
shipper.
Enterprise refit that you're talking about?
Well, let me tell you. Yes, it's gorgeous.
Two Vulcans, one cup.
And the ship. That's good, X-ray girl. Wise usage of your words. No, the ship in this looks like they all
There's
look
coal
like
in the ground.
jagged
That pretty water?
pieces of metal, dude. Like what the fuck?
Terrible. I mean, there's nothing about there's nothing. You know what's really okay. In the original series, they did a few great spy episodes, and there's an episode in the 3rd season of the original Star Trek called the Enterprise Incident, when it seems that Kirk is off his rocker. They go into Romulan space. They're immediately surrounded by.
I gotta watch some more Star Trek. That show is so good. Every episode I've watched is awesome.
That's good.
And the whole thing is
I don't think you'd like it.
so they can rip off
Really?
Nope.
Too old?
device from the Romulans because
It's too slow for you,
Mm.
and yeah, it's too old for you. I do not think you would like it. It's really, really good though. If you're willing to give it a chance, maybe you would like it, but I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you
Star
would like
Trek,
it.
you're
Mhm.
talking about? Yeah, I am willing. I do want to try it.
You see Kirk, they actually surgically alter him to look
If you don't like Star Wars, I can't imagine why you would ever. I mean, it's actually extremely different from Star Wars, Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to do a spy thriller, which is what they supposedly want to do,
It's literally like, it's like a drama and an action, but it's like a sitcom style. Like it's like incident of the week on the ship. It's not like there's no overarching story or anything that I know of at
Well,
least
there's
yet.
not.
Not
Interesting.
really.
It's not what I would have
and you
expected.
ask yourself, who are the people?
It's like you don't really need to watch the episodes in order or anything. It's not like a drama now. It's not like a modern drama.
Yeah.
They're trying to appeal to.
Interesting.
And they
The
work.
audience, we want stuff that's cool, man.
The entire thing is shallow. Like in this scene itself, they describe all the characters as their own stereotypes. This is the guy who's got as a disguise. This is the guy who. This is the woman who's the femme fatale. This is the strange, wacky one. This is the strong arm guy. I think that was the only depth they put in the characters the entire thing.
The introduction of these characters was so clunky, and especially when that guy on the left there, he starts to give his, tortured backstory and just monologue, and it's like, they do not know how to naturally introduce characters in a, genuine way at all.
It felt like when you're watching a 2.5-minute trailer for a game that's like a couple months from being released, and they give you a quick breakdown on the crew, right? And like your little bullet points. That's what it felt like.
And then as they're introducing these characters, I'm sitting there wondering, if this is a problem, why is Section 32? Because Disparu explained it perfectly. Section 32 usually was the
31.
organization that would go 31, whatever. That would go further. That would go further than the Federation. This is a problem that you'd think that they'd be putting like a ship on board. The Federation would be handling it. Why does this justify Section 32 onto this job?
There were
instead
borders. The explanation they give for that is justified.
Oh, the borders.
You can't just send a military ship into a foreign nation.
Okay,
and expect.
But also they were presented as black-clad, persons. Like I was looking up the images. Like William Sadler, I forgot, had played one of the agents. Like when
Sloan. He in Deep Space Nine, he was the one guy that represented Section 31, and you didn't know anything about them. Neither did our characters, and that was the whole thing. When he showed up, he was just one guy. You didn't know what he represented, and in this show, they had to go off and decide, okay, we're gonna give them their own badges, we're gonna give them a headquarters, we're gonna give them their own ships, because the limitless thinkers or the limited thinkers that make these shows don't understand Section 31 isn't the CIA. It's not the FBI. It's not MI6. It's something totally different. It's more along the lines of something you might have found in the X-Files, or something like in the Manchurian Candidate, or something like that. But they have no understanding of this. And I'll give you an example. The second time you saw Section 31 in Deep Space Nine, there was an episode called, and I always mispronounce this. It's called Inter Arma Enim Silent Legions, and that is something that Cicero from antiquity said, and it's Latin for "in times of war, the law falls silent," and that was what Section 31 was all about. I mean, in times of war, the Dominion War in Deep Space Nine, that's when we first saw Section 31, and that was sort of their mandate. I mean, we went from an episode of Star Trek that's Latin and something that Cicero would have said to this swill. And you have to ask, you ask yourself, who are the people that are writing this garbage when they could just is like a second grader wrote it.
Good
compared
night.
to the original college philosophy course that came up with Section 31 in the first place. When I watch this stuff, I think to myself, why am I watching work that is done by people that clearly haven't done their homework? They're spending money frivolously, and they have the writing ability of what I had, back when I was still eating paste.
You're a bad bitch.
You started about 4 years ago, Rob.
Can I ask the Star Trek fans a question? So,
Dialogue, bro.
as a Star Trek, I wouldn't even call myself a normie, but like I'm not a Star Trek guy, but like I like Star Trek 2009. I like JJ Star Trek 2009. Does the current state of Star Trek make you look back and at least go, it was bad, but it's not nearly where this is with the Star Trek?
Neither of them
JJ?
were Star Trek. I think that's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
To me, it's like Craig's Bond films. Like, I can appreciate that people might like those movies, might be good movies, but they're not Bond movies.
Right.
And I felt that way with the 2009 thing. With the whole
Casino Royale was.
with the whole
Royale was great.
complexity of Section 31, it was interesting because even as they were spies, they would meet people and they would let you just tell all of your staff about them. But whenever they researched Section 31, it was like they weren't there. In this, the very first scene, they're blowing stuff up, they're going through walls. Hundreds of people see them. Like, there's no like Section 31 is supposed to be a myth. Like,
Yeah.
it's the kind of thing that's whispered about in hallways, and I was like, no, you're insane. But don't push it. Don't research it too much. So they knew enough to be scared, and nothing carries over.
No, it's an intersectional nightmare, this show. And again, it's a carryover from 2018. So, you talked about the borders. The Federation's not supposed to cross those borders. But I would argue that if you have a weapon that can blow up a quadrant, that they might want to enter the equation at this point. It's like, we'll just let these 5 people handle it.
They didn't know.
That was actually my point, because there are episodes in Next Gen and everything like that where
So would
the cards
Rachel
would be
Garrett
removed
let
from
them
the
know?
Yeah,
Oh, look,
but
it's
like,
smaller.
there was an episode where
They
the card was
coincidentally, the
removed.
ship broke at that point.
Also,
But yeah.
like, it could have been actual Section 31, but instead they said the Suicide Squad, whatever the hell this nonsense is. Like,
this
imagine if they had written the
group
show.
of retards.
Yeah, imagine if they had written the show instead, like what Section 31 was originally established to be in DS9. Like, that actually could have been a really, really cool story, but instead we get,
No,
discount
they weren't.
Suicide Squad.
They weren't interested in writing a cool story. This was content to be put out because we can put Michelle Yeoh in it. Like, I doubt much was concentration, talent, or anything was put into this other than getting her on it to make another movie so you can have another notch in your belt, because Kurtzman doesn't care, right? That Star Trek.
This is looking weird.
Star Trek is Star Trek made by people who don't like Star Trek for people who don't like Star Trek. And
No.
Little Platoon had the best description of it yesterday on Open Bar. It's Star Trek for theater kids, because that's what Hollywood thinks that the modern audience is a bunch of theater kids.
There's also, one of the maddening things about this, when they talk about it destroys a whole quadrant, I don't think people understand how big that is.
That's big.
It would take tens of thousands of light years to cross a quadrant. If you exploded something that was traveling at the speed of light, it would take tens of thousands of years to destroy a quadrant. They don't get this. They don't understand basic distances, and it's maddening. They had an episode back in the second season of Discovery where these red beacons,
The red
turned on
beacons, yes.
all across the galaxy, and they all turned on at the same time. And this imaging system saw, look, these beacons, and they were all throughout the Milky Way galaxy, as if there was no distance or time at all. These lights just turned on. Well, if you know anything about distances, it's not like Earth. Light is traveling from one beacon, maybe it takes 5,000 light years to get to you. Another one's going to take
Did you
100,000.
break the scaffolding that was
Couldn't
here?
do that and have lights
I think
turn
so.
on. It's because
Rude.
the kids who are writing this, they're not even theater kids. They're junior high theater kids that haven't barely got out of a science course. And at least Star Trek always had, with all of their fictional science, they made you believe, when they came up with something like the transporter had rules. It was a line of sight device. It wasn't magical. In Star Trek 09, they made the transporter magical. So you would believe in the fiction. I always say that the best fiction is the most truthful. These shows don't even bother to try and explain any of their gobbledygook that they're trying to shove down our throats all the time. I mean, if I want something shoved down my throat, I want it. I don't want to have it.
The big problem in Hollywood. I want it to be a massive ship.
I want a big corpse spell.
Why?
Like with the machine that they attach to themselves.
Do you care? I don't think you do.
Can someone, maybe I don't know. Can someone explain to me why, as soon as you put that on, you don't fucking fall through the ship?
No.
And the object, there is no reason.
Times.
She was able to walk through walls, fine.
She trips over at one point and takes foot to the floor and smacks into it. Like, no sense whatsoever.
Because they don't know. They don't stop and think to themselves, okay, if A, B, and C are true, D, E, and F must be true as well. And look, all of the things that we like, whether it's Lord of the Rings, whether it's Doctor Who, whether it's Star Wars, they make you believe. Like a sonic screwdriver has limitations. It can't just do anything. Well, I guess
can now.
But before it didn't work on wood.
But at one point, her leg gets stuck in the wall, out of phase, and then she just pulls it out and it works fine again. I'm like, that could have been interesting if she actually lost her leg. Yeah. But they weren't willing to do anything.
No, and that weaponry would have come, or that defense mechanism would have come in really handy in future Star Trek episodes.
I mean,
I guess that tech is lost. And I think they just wanted, they're like, Dune did this cool phasing thing. Let's do it like that, but let's make it, we're like Vision.
That's why it feels like Rebel Moon, where Rebel Moon felt like a big amalgamation of all these other ideas that were not tweaked at all in any way. They were just put into a movie. This is doing the exact same thing with a way smaller budget.
And to Robert's point before, one of the enjoyment things that you really love about sci-fi is them working with really interesting scientific theoretical concepts, and you get to see it depicted. And like that issue with not understanding time, we saw that with the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy, where they had the Death Star thing destroying planets, and you're seeing it in real time as it's happening in other star systems, and they do not understand how that would take years for that vision to get there. And I had an experience recently where I'm watching something that it's an anime, and they understood so much better. It's Star Blazers, where Earth is an apocalypse, and they have this ship that's now traveling away from Earth to try and save it. They get to a point, and they want to look back on Earth, and they bring up the image, and it's an image of Earth about 50 years before, because they're so far away. That's what Earth would look like from their distance. And it was just like one of those moments, like, oh, they understand actual physics and how this works. I forgot that science fiction usually does that nowadays. But so there are things that do it at Star Wars. But it's just so funny that you have idiots writing this that are missing some of the most enjoyable parts about the genre.
Well, it's true. I think that one of the problems with Star Trek as a thing is it's very difficult. I'll admit this. It's very difficult for, say, a writer or audiences today to go back and watch a science fiction show that debuted in 1966 and not see it as hokey. It's very difficult to go back and take the show seriously because of the style of effects, the style of acting, the set design, the cinematography. You have to train yourself to be able. And that's true of anything. You go
What was
back
that?
Don't know.
we watch movies
You
of
don't
the
know.
50s and
You just had a seizure.
Twitched.
mindset to understand
I twitch
the way people
sometimes.
talk to each other is different. So I think it's and the way Star Trek has also been parodied in everything from The Simpsons to TV commercials with the Gorn and William Shatner. It's very, very hard to go back and take Star Trek seriously. The way, and yet the people that, just like the Twilight Zone, the people that made the Twilight Zone and Star Trek, because of network standards and practices, they couldn't talk about the Vietnam War, for instance. So they would do a fantasy show where they could address the Vietnam War allegorically. We could go to a different planet where there literally was a battle going
How's
on.
Plains Owen?
The hill people and the villagers
Pretty good.
were being armed. The Klingons were arming the village people, and the Federation are like, are we going to arm the hill people so they can actually
Making
reach
the
some
waterfalls?
kind of
Yeah, I want to see if it's gonna help with the aesthetic here.
slaughtered with these
I could put
advanced
lights
weapons.
behind them or
So
under them
they could get
too.
away
Yeah,
with
that's
it on
good.
Star Trek because network
I think does that look good? I can't tell you.
That's not us.
Yeah.
And Rod Serling did the same thing in the Twilight
Yeah.
Zone. He could attack racism directly. And back
I
in the
learned
late 50s and early 60s, you couldn't do that. They wouldn't let you do that on TV. So, but if it took place in the Twilight Zone, you could. So the storytelling was very highbrow, and it expected the audience to come up to the level of storytelling. The problem with all the people that are writing fantasy, especially allegorical fantasy, is they all think they're writing a Joss Whedon show.
Yes.
They all grew up watching Buffy and Angel, or and that's all. That's their level of writing, and it's really unfortunate because they themselves aren't able to come up to the level of intelligence and writing that the very people that created these shows were doing. And like Gary pointed out, Roddenberry was a World War II vet. Then he was on the LA police force. And a lot of these guys came back from World War II, and then they became writers. And they were writing novels and plays and screenplays and short stories. They were quote unquote real writers. And the people that are writing a lot of our fantasy shows today, they think that Buffy, I love Buffy, by the way. I think Buffy's a great show.
Yep.
I think Angel's a great show. But if that's all you ever watched,
that's your life experience. Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
And you know, what do you have to bring to this? And they haven't even watched. I mean, the spy genre, again, a great literary genre. Read about the spy craft in World War II or World War I. And this could be such a rich show if it was written by people that put in the time and delved into the spy genre, or rather than just watch Guardians of the Galaxy and go, let's do that. Well, James Gunn's been a screenwriter for 30 years.
I think it's a philosophical thing. I wonder if that's what they're learning in their classes when they go to college is don't disregard the legacy of all these different genres and what builds those genres and like the pillars of those genres. Disregard that and make whatever is new, because everything is modern and we're trying to revamp everything. Is that coming from a source somewhere? That's what they're getting. That's because it seems to be this entire generation that is their philosophy in writing.
Everything is the patriarchy. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Star Trek
they really seem to be trying to just emulate and copy Marvel humor, like especially those stupid gags about it's the godsend or what, and they couldn't figure it out. It was cringe and they couldn't even land that.
Hey,
that
what?
seems to be the main
What you doing?
It's the more really
Didn't mean to mess you up.
It's the basic understanding of Buffy, of just watching clips on YouTube. That's where I think Kurtzman got a lot from Star Trek, is clips on YouTube. Simple. If you want to explain what Robert and I were talking about before, we're talking about seeing light across long distances. This is something we covered on Forbidden Frontier. A simple Google search would have brought you quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where particles can be linked even when separated by large distances, and you can play with that. You could and light years. They're talking light years that these particles are linked, and it happens in real time. There's no time in between whatever interaction happens to them. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools, and I know that. So that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But like Star Trek, Robert was just talking. As a kid, Robert and I were watching Twilight Zone and Star Trek. These were adult shows. Straight up adult shows. I didn't understand half of what I was watching when I was like 6, but I know it scared the shit out of me, but I liked it. It was interesting, and I started understanding, I rewatched Twilight Zone obsessively.
We're barely talking this recording at all.
Greatest show ever.
Yeah, I did kind of think about that.
Is this not even worth uploading to?
Those writers jobs. They work blue-collar jobs. Tolkien, a lot of what's in Lord of the Rings is a melancholy. There's a melancholy of a dying age, and that's a melancholy that he gets from fighting in a real war, watching all his friends die.
I hate ceilings.
That seeps into the story because that's real life experience. That's real. And the experience we have now is I watched a couple episodes of Buffy and some clips on YouTube. It's bad, and a lot of what brought that in was DEI restrictions. And they've gotten rid of a lot of the old guard who knew what the hell they were doing, getting rid of meritocracy, and this is what we're left with. And unfortunately, we lost Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Damn, it's questionable if we've lost Marvel. It's looking that way right now. We don't know if DC can get off the ground. Hope it can.
Lost the comics for sure.
It affected the end of Game of Thrones. It affected Lord of the Rings. It affected The Witcher. It's affected so many things. It's countless. I don't know what's left to be
be honest with you.
By the way, somebody in the chat asked, how many miles is a light year? It's about 6 trillion miles.
Whoa.
1 light year is about 6
That's a long
trillion.
And Jeremy would drive it rather than flying a ship.
I saw somebody else being like,
Damn
that
right.
doesn't make sense. You guys know light years are a measure of distance, not time. It's like, yeah, no shit, motherfucker. It's the amount of time that at light speed, at the speed of light, that something would take to go 1 year. That's what the distance is.
Hey,
right?
Ryan, what did you do in the Navy again?
I
You
worked
were
on nuclear reactors.
You worked on nuclear, so you have to be kind of smart to do that.
Relatively.
Relatively.
I worked with some dumb motherfuckers, but
That's good to hear.
Just an example of this show not understanding even Star Trek technology because they would rather have some kind of goofy sequence is the base that we're looking at here. It's buried like their main, where they plan all their stuff. It's buried miles in the center of this planet or whatever, and they have to travel on this rickety, I don't know, weird platform to get from point A to point B. And I'm wondering, what happened to their transporters? Like you would go to all this trouble to make all these, platforms and resources when a transporter would be way cheaper and easier to install. But instead of remembering that they have technology for that, they was like, oh, we want a sequence of them on these platforms to have a really bad action spot. And so they forget the war of the universe.
You can't be a dummy.
There's literally a scene in this where they go, let's go to the cargo hold, cuts over to the other base, and they're there. And I'm like, what happens in the middle? Like, you never said you were going back.
They cut it out for time. They cut it out for time. You can't be a dummy and write Star Trek. And Robert, I saw your tweet, and you're right. To write Star Trek, you need to love. Well, you said to love to fuck, but also you need to love Star Trek. You need to love the passion of life, and be inspirational. That's the hardest thing to be as a writer, as a creator. That I've witnessed is being inspirational.
It's about the love of existence. The love of being alive. I mean, I use the F word as a euphemism, but unless you have that element of passion within you, which should spill over. The whole reason why tell stories. We tell stories to hopefully convey human truths in an interesting packet. Whenever we relate something that happened to us, we're hoping that we can convey that and it means something to somebody else. Like, you understand what we went through. Like when you tell a friend of yours.
I feel like I've gotten almost nothing done, and it's taken so much time to do it.
Well, you're trying to figure out the pattern.
Ceiling's just taking a long time to do scaffolding and build the blocks.
The allegorical stories that it told, it would offer insights into the audience. Like, wow, if this happened to me, how would I feel? And through the course
Ooh, it does look kind of cool, the water and heading in those corners.
You are trying to.
Oh yeah, it looks really good with the leaves.
I was worried about like the corner at the very top, but I think it looks better that way actually. The way it's kind of looks like a triangle up top at the corners.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's good.
This character that Michelle Yeoh plays, she's from a mirror universe, and
Sweet, it looks good. Looks really good actually.
So what they've done is they've literally made her a mustache twirling villainess. She never reflects back on the kind of person
that's
she
pretty
was.
sweet.
Like we talked about, no redemption at all. But what is a person that comes from a universe where the morality is completely opposite to what ours is?
Yeah, it's starting to look a little more formed now. There's no more holes in the wall or anything like that. Yeah, this is looking really cool.
Yeah, it'll be even better once we take down those torches.
They were transposed. And Spock says it's a lot harder for a barbarian to act like a civilized person than it is for a civilized person to act like a barbarian. And this was a point that was made in 1967.
I think we should stop swimming place and watch that. God, read some Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think I might need to take like a cat nap, like 10-minute cat
You
nap. Or power nap.
We don't have to read Harry Potter tonight.
No, let me try doing a power nap.
That's not really how you work.
If I do 10 minutes, then sometimes I'll be okay. If I sit have an nap for too long, then I won't.
The light is different. In the
Well, they do it now because I don't really want to just sit around and wait for that to happen.
drops in or whatever all the time.
You don't want me to finish the chest.
No, you can do your thing. Sorry, I'm being mean.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, so that's why
I'm being mean. You got rid of item frames over here. Why'd you do that? Well, actually, it might have been me, I guess. It was me. They're in my inventory.
I was gonna say, I haven't actually gotten rid of any item frames. Stuff in them, yeah, but...
The one who's like common. It says he's from the eugenic wars, and he specifically says he was born in the 20th century. I thought those eugenic wars got moved to the 21st century.
Yes, they did. That's another thing. Yeah, in this timeline, we saw in Strange New Worlds that here's another dumb thing that the producers of Star Trek have said.
Oh yeah,
that
it looks cool when you come down the stairs.
That was set up in the original Star Trek, which is all fictitious. Did anyone believe that Star Trek was ever real? Was it supposed to be our history? No, it was similar, but it's an alternate universe. But the producers of modern Star Trek think that in order for audiences to be interested, that they have to make our real history that we're living through now, they have to keep adding it to the show's backstory. So as our history moves forward, because Star Trek started in '66, that they keep having to change things. So in the Star Trek universe, the eugenics wars took place in the 1990s. Well, not anymore, because they're like, well, we lived through the 90s and there really wasn't a eugenics wars. Well, I think anybody watching, I knew at 5 years old that we weren't going to have eugenics wars in the 1990s because it was a fictional show. It had a fictional backstory.
He organized, huh? Good boy.
Should be.
Pretty cool. What's this one?
Oh, it's another.
So what you're saying,
Did I break that item?
Yeah.
Yes.
Charger.
This episode, they
Order.
contradicted their own continuity that they've retconned from the original Star Trek continuities.
Yes.
It would be like, well, Back to the Future, that doesn't make any sense anymore because we lived through 2015 or whatever, and that didn't happen.
Yep. There was no almanac.
Yeah.
We don't have hoverboard.
The Cubs almost made it to the World Series around the same time.
They did.
In 2016, they came damn close.
Yeah.
But that's exactly right, Ryan. It's like, we have to go back and retcon Back to the Future because Back to the Future 2 didn't happen that way. I mean,
I think it's more the fact that
Blade Runner would do that if they remade it.
I think it's more the fact that the writers can't imagine a world that they haven't lived through. Like the enemies in this are simply, what's the worst thing they can imagine? Well, it's colonialism and racism, and so that's the entire enemy empire. They've literally the only two pieces of history they know about and projected it as the villain. So it's got no moral complexity. And with the barbarian and the civilized thing, they think that Section 31 are the barbarians. They are the civilized people. They're looking at the Federation going, you are basically children. Your morality hasn't evolved enough to survive in this world. And so we are the more complex people that will do the hard work so that we can preserve your innocence how it is and you don't need to become us. And
that's a wonderful
interesting.
point.
Whereas in this, the entire arc of the show is, and she even says it, the only person that can outsmart me is me.
I wrote that down.
Peak feminism at the time.
Yeah.
She literally does outsmart herself at the end. Like that's the entire arc of the movie.
Dude,
you want about they contradict timelines. They contradict the motivations of the villains in this thing. Because at first they're like, okay, so they're coming for the weapon. Then they're coming for the resources of our universe. Then they're coming for the weapons so they can detonate it, so they can get the resources that they're going to blow up with the weapon. Like, just pick. You're overcomplicating it and contradicting something you said 5 minutes ago because you can't decide.
And their attitude towards Star Trek fans is, why do you care about this stuff? And it's like, why are you fucking making it if that's your attitude? Like, it's ridiculous. So you could interpret that as the canon is erased, or you could interpret it as they didn't bother to check their own fucking canon. I would guess the latter, that like they just didn't do the research on their own fucking show. But
they didn't even do the research into Section 31 itself.
No.
Yeah.
Gary, I would say, is it possible that, because he's talked about being frozen in time, right? Is it possible that he was born in the late 20th century, and then in the 21st century, when they said the eugenic wars happened, that is when...
Did they move it 100 years? I can't remember how far they moved it to.
No,
the 21st.
well, they don't know because Khan is like a little boy in the 2020s now, whereas Khan took over the world in he ran a quarter of the world's population in 1996.
Yeah.
Which is what's so interesting is that anybody who loves fiction, whether it's Middle Earth, take whatever fictional universe you love. Part of the fun of reading fantasy fiction, science fiction, is the world building. alternative histories are a big genre in science fiction literature.
Yeah.
Love it.
Everybody gets it. We saw like shows like The Man in the High Castle,
Yeah.
you know, where the Allies were defeated in World War II. Everybody understands that concept. We all get it. So this idea that they think the audience is too dumb to go with that, to go with this, to stick with their own fictional backstory is really frustrating. And what they're telling, what these writers are telling the audience is, we don't care about you. We just don't care. And which means they don't care about their own IP. I would say that writing like this show, if I was a shareholder and, you know, the Skydance deal with Paramount, I would say every one of these bad shows chips away at the value of their own IP. Every time there's bad, the Book of Boba Fett destroyed a character that people have loved since 1980. When Boba Fett was introduced. And when that happens, you've diminished your entire franchise because Boba Fett was the basis of The Mandalorians. And now between the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 3, well, the Mandalorians aren't so cool anymore. You guys have wrecked your own characters. And why do the corporate overlords put up with that? Because they don't know the difference.
They don't.
And that's why they shouldn't have their jobs.
Exactly. And it's going to get worse because it's tech bros coming in and taking over who watch even less of this stuff. And none of the bankers who run these companies watch any of their none of them do. None of them sit through an entire movie without checking their phone. None of them do. They have no idea what's going on. It's just content to them to put out. And yes, the fans are far more worried about the legacy of Star Trek and Star Wars than the people who paid billions to own them. And now, you know, Paramount's done so well with Kurtzman Trek. It's only $15 billion in debt, guys. And forced to sell. And
What
forced
even
to
is that?
And what's Skydance, like, Robert, when Skydance, they take over the next few months. It's got to
Yeah,
pass
they have
some
to, I think,
government
regulation things. Yeah, they've got all. But it's interesting because Skydance funded all of the Bad Robot era
they did.
Star Trek movies too. And what's really interesting about that is when Bad Robot took over the Star Trek franchise, it was a business decision. They figured, okay, we have all the merchandising that comes along with it. We figured we're going to make a lot of money. And what Paramount told them, Bad Robot wanted to not sell any merchandise that was based on old Star Trek. They only wanted to sell merchandise that was based on Star Trek 09 and everything moving forward. And Paramount said, no, we're not going to do that. And so they were developing a video game. And in the middle of the production of that video game, basically Bad Robot abandoned that company and threw them under the bus because they realized that their merchandise isn't going to sell. And Discovery and moving forward, Strange New Worlds, all that stuff, there really is no Star Trek merchandise that's selling. They've killed all of the merchandise that they used to make a lot of money on. No one's buying stuff from the modern shows because they're not iconic. You don't
like
want
a mobile phone. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh,
literally using a mobile phone as a scanner.
I mean,
It's a tricorder. Like there was a girl with a tricorder. It was just a mobile phone.
Yeah.
That's another point where it's like this isn't even Star Trek. You're not even trying.
They've driven into the ground in something that wasn't, I'm not going to say it was a money printing machine on the level of Star Wars or anything like that, but it was consistent income. It was a consistent revenue stream that came from a smaller audience, but that would buy the shit out of everything.
A small, loyal audience that kept up with it year after year, decade after decade. A lot of Star Trek books that are out there as well.
Tons. My
Right,
God.
a lot of Star Trek books.
Yeah, a lot.
Hundreds.
And they said, hey, you guys that are dedicated, fuck you. Let's get rid of all that. And you're going to care about the new shit now. And the new shit has no connection to the old stuff.
This could apply to so many properties. Holy shit.
No,
I mean, it's literally what happens to every single property.
Well, that's the bigger picture here.
It's a cautionary tale. They even did something. So the Star Trek Litverse had its own continuity.
Yeah.
And for 20 years, it did a really great job. You had a core group of authors, and the Litverse was great. When Picard came along, the first season of Picard, it contradicted that Litverse. And they went to all the authors, and I understand because books don't make the kind of money TV can make. But they basically said to these authors, we're going to end this continuity because this new show contradicts it all, and made them end it. something that had been making money, admittedly not as much, but for 20 years. And even their gaming, like the Star Trek Online game, they keep having to sort of like put all this swill and incorporate it into the larger Star Trek mythology.
Oh, are you going to bed?
So they're even polluting their successful merchandising with this
Burner.
ridiculous, ill-considered Star Trek since 2017. And they've undermined their own merchandise sales because they have to incorporate this garbage.
There's these retarded platforms, and the whole time, like, okay, so transporters aren't even around now. Okay, all right.
I did like the shapeshifter moment though in this scene, where a guy gets knocked off and he transforms into like weird strands to save him.
Looks like
that
a
was the one
starfish.
cool thing that character did the entire lot.
So back to this horrible show. There's a lot of long fight scenes of 62-year-old, 5'2" Michelle Yeoh, who's not superpowered. Okay, hey,
No, it's just
she's
a lady.
badass in Crouching Tiger. She's great in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. She's great in this. She is not convincing as a totalitarian Hitler who can kick the shit out of anybody, and she's fighting dudes off like no fucking problem at all.
Not just dudes, a robot.
A
This
robot.
Is a robot.